close to how a Malay would think or how a Malay would write. Whereas in intercession, I see it as almost like a recreation in some ways. There are certain things which are lost in terms of emotive things, but there are certain things which are even more clarified. In fact, my publisher in Malaysia was telling me it's an easier read compared to the Malay version.
The
Although
English?
The English version.
Which one? Both?
It's quite close actually. I mean, there's not much changes from the but anyway, both actually edited by Elgin.
So they're actually basically the same.
Basically the same.
With some proofreading maybe.
Yeah, with just a little bit of tweak here and there, but it's not much. But the point is that my Malay publisher, after reading the English version, was telling me it's an easy read. People will understand it better. Although he said it has lost some emotive element. So it's either you want to keep the Malay voice, the Malay emotive voice in that translation, or go beyond and maybe in a way that actually might be more palatable to an international audience. But I mean, I've got a literary agent, who told me actually in certain parts of the world they would prefer the original version because they want to feel the voice of but some part of the world would actually prefer the other version, which is more easy. I mean, I've got readers who read One Earth who says actually it should be edited. I take it edited in the way that Alvin did it for intercession. But there are two schools. So I'm not too sure which is the one maybe it depends on the nature of the book. Things like Satu Bumi or One Earth and Nadra is more historical, more the context is very clear. Malay society, maybe that kind of translation which is closer to the Malay voice is more apt. But something which is very conceptual, very philosophical as intercession will require a different approach. So yeah.
Anyone?
Working with intercession, I found it very, very close to the issues we come across when working with translated poetry.
Right.
I mean, a lot of it is very lyrical, poetic. I think the poet in you was coming out there as well. And a lot of issues we talk about, do you want to be, in poetry, do you want to be faithful to the literal translation, or do you want to bring out the sort of the sense or the meaning of it? I think it's the same sort of tension we're talking about.
I think I can help there because I read in the original language itself, and I think a lot of that's discussed here is based on the translated works, and a lot is lost, and a lot is said. Isa the short story writer or Isa the novelist, not a lot of Isa the poet, and a lot of his works when you read, every issue is different. It's like him growing, it's different, but his voice, his poetic voice is very strong in every book.
Right. You think that if you were to pick up a book and you don't know this by Isa, you can actually tell because of that strong poetic voice.
I can tell you, if you pick up a poem by Isa, I will know it's Isa. And
awesome.
He's the thing about him is I think when he writes something, he does his research, but he's very steady in being himself. So a lot of the things that he's written is actually his ideas, and it's not about so much about the situation itself. It is factual, but it's also his voice, his opinion, and stating it as easy for readers. But the special thing about reading in the original score is that he has so many layers of meanings.
Right.
And he plays a lot. I don't know whether it's subconscious or whether it's deliberate, but he plays a lot on the sound of the words, the play of the words that you cannot capture. No matter what you do, you cannot capture in a translated work. So the whole, if you talk about intercession being mind-blowing in English, I'm just telling you in Malay it's so you cannot describe it.
A few minds blown.
Yeah, because he plays with the sentiments, not only Malays, it's also religion. And Malays, religion and Islam, it is so sensitive. You know, and the things that he touched on are the big ones. Like, you cannot clone Prophet Muhammad. You cannot even draw his picture. You know, but it is the idea of it. And that is what I think the Malay readers didn't get. And there were a lot of, his forum had a lot of wars in it.
His
it's
forum
funny.
is,